the hospital.
Oh, sorry. Ma'am, you're not allowed
Say that again, please.
in the hospital.
It's a. Why am I not allowed to video?
Signs everywhere say you're not allowed.
I'm not allowed to video, but you're making me wear a mask. If otherwise, you're gonna deny me service if I don't wear a mask.
We're asking you to
I'm at St. Joseph's Hospital. They're telling me that if I don't wear a mask, they're not gonna assist me. They want me to leave. Whose policy is that?
Ministry of Health.
Ministry of Health policy.
So we have Karens here in Canada too, guys. What you just saw was a video posted to Twitter by a woman named Letitia Montana. Now, she's the one recording the video. And what you see is her complaining about the fact that in a Toronto, Ontario, Canada hospital, St. Joseph's, she's not going to get service unless she agrees to put a mask on. And she makes a big scene about it, and she's complaining about it, and she goes and she posts this to social media. So I want to make it clear, this is not the sort of Karen video you often see, which is somebody capturing the Karen live as it happens, as I did in my Trader Joe's video, or when we talked about Lisa Alexander, or when we talked about Amy Cooper. Those were people filming the Karen live in action. Here, this is the lady sort of tattling on herself. She took this video of nurses being perfectly reasonable in their request for her to wear a mask. Then she went home, she put the video on Twitter, she wrote a tweet surrounding it, and sent it off into the internet, thinking all along, they're the crazy ones. I'm the reasonable one. She thinks she's the good guy here. It's absolutely baffling to me. Let me read you her tweet. She says, went into the emergency department at St. Joseph's Hospital in Toronto for a suspected broken finger. I was asked to wear a mask, which I refused to do. As a result, hospital staff asked me to leave and immediately called 3 security guards to escort me out. Hashtag film your hospital. And so as you might gather from that hashtag, this lady is something of a politically motivated Karen, at least more than average. This person sort of wanted to make a scene. I don't even know if she needed medical attention or if she just wanted to get video of the fact that she wouldn't get service at a busy Toronto hospital without wearing a mask, and that she was going to make the nurses and or doctors or whoever look silly through this recording. And if you look at her other recent Twitter posts, you see her protesting quote-unquote far leftists. You see her protesting not only Justin Trudeau's federal government in terms of the emergency ordinances in Canada, but you also see her protesting the progressive conservative government here in Ontario under Doug Ford that has also put forward a lot of these measures, including some of the calls for masks to be worn in these sorts of spaces. A lot of municipal communities in Ontario and across Canada have done the same. This is not nearly the partisan issue it is in the US. Most Canadians agree with wearing masks, social distancing, curtailing their social and political and economic lives for the betterment of everybody. Everyone sort of agreed to do that. At least most of us. Most of us have. But don't think for a second there aren't people like Letitia Montana in every community in Canada, especially in some of the larger cities where they seem to be playing a role, truth be told, in the fact that those big cities have among the higher cases in Canada, and they haven't seen the curve flatten as much as some of the smaller communities and medium-sized cities and more isolated communities in the country. That's the simple truth. And it has to be noted here that while this particular woman, this Karen, this Letitia Montana, has a clear political motivation, she's clearly connected to the alt-right or to the far right. She's clearly, sharing posts by Project Veritas. She's protesting even elected conservative governments because they dare to ask people to wear masks and to take care of one another. But all Karens are part of this broad political project. They might not all vote conservative or Republican. They might not all identify as on the right or as conservative, small c or big C. But they're united in a vision that rejects social solidarity, that rejects common sense, that rejects science, and that rejects compassion and camaraderie for everyone around them. It's about selfishness, and that selfishness is connected to a broadly antisocial ideology. And you see it here. You see this as the sort of person that rails about big government ruining their lives, as she goes in, of course, to get her access to socialized medicine. But we'll leave that to the side. But this is a woman who basically rails on about the government being big and bad, and then that's obviously connected to why she won't wear a mask. And that even in spaces like this, where again, we need to outline it again, the workers and patients and people in these sorts of spaces, in hospitals, are especially at risk. And if they get sick, it will be an absolute disaster. Not only because these first responders are heroes in this fight, and we only have so many of them, but because if the people they care for get sick, they'll be in real trouble. People that are in hospitals are already susceptible to getting even sicker, and we want to protect those people, elderly people and already sick people, absolutely at all costs. And so, Letitia, this is far, far, far worse than not wearing a mask at a Trader Joe's, or not wearing a mask in a park, or not wearing a mask in any sort of public venue. This is literally a place that we need to ensure is absolutely positively safe for the most vulnerable people and the heroes that are keeping those people alive and well. So, don't forget that while a lot of the focus about Karens is in the United States, a lot of the focus about this is in America, where the anti-mask ideology is far more prevalent. We have this here in Canada too. And like in the United States, it's motivated generally by an anti-science, anti-social ideology that spits in the face of our common humanity and our decency and what we should have, which is love and respect and care for one another. The Letitias of the world are single-handedly making it harder to exit this crisis with the minimum amount of pain and suffering. I'm glad she posted this video because she's starting to face the real consequences of putting healthcare workers and those they serve at risk. A lot of people are talking about her business and her economic opportunities, and frankly, I think that, no one should have any sympathy for Letitia. This is even worse than a regular Karen, and of course, as we know, she posted it online. This is on her.